Let's head out to the hotline and bring on Broncos inside linebacker Alexander Johnson. Alexander, you're on with Ryan Edwards and Benjamin Allbright. Good to talk to you again, man. How are you?
Yes, sir. Nice talking to y'all as well. I'm doing great.
All right, man. It's good to chat with you. Before we get into Broncos stuff, man, can you tell me a little bit about what you guys were doing today? I saw this post that you guys reached out to Governor Polis, and it was you, Justin Simmons, Devontae Bosby, and you reached out for him to use his clemency powers. And I'd love for you to just tell me why you guys decided to do this and why this was so important to you.
It boils down just basic human rights and injustice and stuff like that. And like the numbers say, you got 1 in every 3 black person have a chance of ending up in prison, and that number right there alone should shock anyone in America. Like, that just don't seem right, don't seem just. And that's one of my biggest reasons that I'm in this space, is just to be able to bring awareness, trying to help minority black people who ain't not able to speak for themselves, not able to help themselves. And I'm blessed and have an opportunity to be able to meet and talk with officials and politicians to try to help this problem in America that's been going on for years now. And it's a fight we're still going to have to keep fighting.
Absolutely, I love the activism here in the community. How you've adopted that as part of your own, and then you're an entrepreneur. You got the Chief Beast gear going on, and obviously a heck of a football player as well. You look back on this past season, and you say what? Alexander Johnson looks back on this past season and says what?
I look back on this past season, and the first thing anyone should say, or I know I will say, is a blessing. Like, I'm a middle linebacker, and I play real physical and play hard every play and every down, and I come out a season healthy, and that's right there in itself is a blessing, because a lot of guys get hurt throughout the season. You come out a full season healthy and able to continue to grow and get better is a blessing right there.
A lot of guys on this defense undrafted. You got yourself. You got Malik Reed. And you can go down the list. There are other guys at different spots. We talked about the guy from Clemson, Deshaun Williams. We talked about some of these other guys. Is there a special bond between you guys that you've had to overcome that additional obstacle to get your shot in this league and show out? Because you've come on and been, an excellent linebacker in this league. Malik led the team in sacks. You guys undrafted gems out there. Is it the Broncos coaching staff? Is it you guys coming together? What is the recipe for success for you guys and coming together to be able to have that kind of success?
Like you said, at the end of the day, if you drafted or undrafted, just to get into this league, you gotta be on top of your game. You gotta sacrifice. You gotta put in a lot of hard work, even just to get to this league. But then on the point of that, if you're coming in this league undrafted and you're able to get a spot on that field and perform and do excellent and do well and help your team as much as you possibly can, that right there just speaks in itself. So, it's like you say, we got a lot of undrafted guys, but I feel like any of these guys can compete with any of the best guys in the league, best guys who've been first-round draft picks and everything. Anybody compete with those guys. So that right there is just something big. And it's funny you say me and Deshaun, we've been knowing each other since high school, like going to football camps and stuff like that, and then him able to be able to make the team and then come onto the team and do as good as he do. Like, I love playing behind him, and we just got history from way back in high school. That right there is pretty cool in itself.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I feel like your defense sort of held it together and were a bit of the glue of the team throughout the whole season. Now, that's been a bit of a standard here for the Broncos defense for a really long time. But, this year, the level of adversity, and I know we kind of throw that out there, but my goodness, by the last game, you guys were missing 8 projected starters coming into that game. And yet, the way you guys played out there, it still seemed like you guys had, a lot of you have been playing together for a really long time. What do you attribute to that?
I feel like it's just a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. Like you said, that's big, pretty huge. You coming into games missing a lot of your key players, a lot of your main starters. But like you said, the organization was able to fill in with guys who can back up and be starters in any other organization. And it showed just by the guys who had to get in the position and make plays at the time when their name was being called. And that right there just comes from the player being on top of his stuff, and then organization being able to find guys who can fill in and make plays and help the team as much as possible.
What did you think about some of the young guys that were out there? I mean, Michael Ojemudia played a really big role out there. He sang Bassey in the back end. And, even up front, we talked about Malik Reed. I mean, you guys had a lot of youth. I mean, you're considered still a young player. So, I mean, you guys were kind of put in a position where several of your vets weren't really out there a lot of the times to kind of bring it all together. What did you think about the youth of the defense? I don't think we talk about that a ton. What did you think about their play this year?
I've been hearing that since, college days, and you hear youth, the young guys. I'm a guy who don't really believe in that nonsense. If you a player, you a player. Don't matter, regardless how many years you've been playing, how many snaps you've been playing. It don't matter. You got to line up and play. Granted, if you've been played 10 years in the league, you maybe know you can pick up different schemes a little faster or recognize stuff a little here and there. But at the end of the day, regardless, you got to get in that field. You got to make plays. You got to do your job. You got to go ball. So I don't really buy into that youth and young stuff. If you on the field, you need to be making plays. You need to be doing your job. It don't matter if you're old or young. So
I love that, actually. No, I'm not kidding here, because that's 100%, because it's not like opposing offenses care either way anyways, right? I mean, the opposing offenses, they get out there and they're like, hey, man, I don't care. I'm going to throw it against your best corner.
He's young. We can't throw at him.
They don't really care. That's a great point. This is pro ball. And you're drafted into the league or you're an undrafted player. Once you suit up, you get out there, teams are going to come after you. So you either rise to the occasion or you fail, don't you?
Yeah, that pretty much boils down to it. Like you said, you could be in the league for 10 years, you could be in the league for 1 year. Regardless, the team going to come at you. And obviously, if you've been locking stuff down real good, they might not try to come at you as much, but once you make a play and show them that you still locking stuff down, young or old, they're not going to try to come at you as much. But, regardless, they're going to come at you because everybody on the field is athletic and good. So, you got to hold up to it.
Alexander Johnson with us. Last one here for you, Alexander. Really appreciate the time tonight. So I asked this question to Malik Reed last night about the optimism based on the way you guys were playing towards the end of the season. And, I mean, especially that last game. When you guys were +4 as a team, you played complimentary football. You gave yourselves a chance to win that game. I know you would have liked a better outcome, but in the end, there were certain things happening out there on the field that hadn't been happening in other parts of the season. Where's your optimism level at for this team heading into next year?
Well, like you said, it shows we can make turnovers happen. Like you said, +4, and that's we couldn't have that. We didn't make that out throughout the whole season. We was down 15 or something like that, some crazy number, but we was able to end up this last game +4, and that right there is huge. Obviously, we didn't get the outcome we wanted, but you can have a game +4. The numbers stack up to your side saying you're going to win, but we didn't win the last one. But that right there just shows we can make more plays throughout the season to be able to put us in position to win.
Well, Alexander, we really appreciate you joining us tonight. I love your commitment to the community. Love getting to talk to you. You always give great answers, and looking forward to seeing what you guys can do next year. Keep up that Instagram, man. It's the most entertaining one out there.